Today's Monday, August 24th. I took one trade on the Nasdaq. I ended up getting stopped at break even. I'm going to break down what that trade was. So I am doing this trade recap a little later in the day. Typically, I do it like immediately after my trade, but I did have to dip immediately after stream. But that's besides the point. So coming into the session, I did have a bullish bias coming into the day. So if I remove all of these drawings, start from the top here, right? Move all my drawings on ES as well. So higher time frame, I originally said I'm bullish because if I were to rewind both indexes to 930 open, I'll actually do that real quick. More importantly, I want to see ES at 930 open because it illustrates my point better. So I always struggle with the replay tool and side by side, but when you look at the daily time frame, at this point, NQ had already swept previous day low, which is going to be Friday's low, as well as Thursday's low, which is previous week's low, right? So you can see when I come down to the smaller time frame, you can see this is Friday's low. It was swept like during London session, right? So London session put in that. So there was an SMT at both previous day's low and previous week's low. I did believe that when you looked at Friday's high, there were those equal highs up here, right? If you remember, if you saw me trade on Friday, I was fixated on these. I really believed they were going to hit. Surprisingly, they never hit. Ironically, my longs actually kind of worked out from here. That was fading or whatever. I forget what happened with these, but I switched my bias. That's what happened. But regardless, so I thought these equal highs were a good draw. And then also, so the way market opened, so these replays, I feel like I'll confuse you. But so at market open, you can see we traded down at market open. I'm not going to lie, for me, when I'm looking for longs, I want to see market open go straight down and leave behind a 930 high, right? That's what we did here. We left behind a 930 high. I love to target those. We're trading down. At this point, I'm waiting for like a CISD off like maybe a close above like this. I never really got that. Like imagine me close up here above that here. I actually was going to take a CISD like that. There's low-key a little bit of like LR built up here. There's equal highs up there. And we're also delivering out of a weekly fair value gap. I really should have mentioned that honestly, right? The highest time frame context here is there would be an SMT inside a weekly fair value gap. So what ended up happening is as you look, as price action played out more, like once we get to like 945 or whatever, right? We ended up just taking out on ES. No, ES is really small. I'll make it bigger for a second to illustrate this. But you can see here's Thursday's low, which is previous week's low. Around 945, we ended up taking out previous week's low. So that SMT got invalidated, right? There's no longer that SMT framing this trade. So I was like, you know what? As we do trade down, if you look at the daily time frame, I was looking for shorts targets. I was flipping my bias because I was like, this daily candlestick right here, it's flipped below the opening price. We're trading so hard down. I think we're trading toward this volume imbalance down here. So what a volume imbalance is when you look at two candles, there's a gap in which the bodies never touch, right? There's just this little area. It's almost like a fair value gap, except you look at two candles, right? So I thought, you know what? Honestly, we're dumping so hard. We like every time we're sweeping the lows inside this gap, it's not really being respected. So I was like, you know what? Maybe we're going to trade a little further down. One thing in hindsight, honestly, I probably should have marked out is equilibrium in this range. But honestly, it would have aligned with my bias. I kind of can visually tell sometimes, but I should have confirmed, honestly. But also, we should be hitting equilibrium of this range if we are in an actual pullback, right? We never actually hit that. It's below this volume imbalance, but I marked this volume imbalance. There's also this unfilled daily gap right below it. I wasn't really looking for that to get filled, really more of that volume imbalance, but so you can see we're dumping, and then once 10 a.m. opens, that's where things actually get interesting, right? So 10 a.m. is very important for multiple reasons. We're opening a new 4-hour candle and a new 1-hour candle. We get, like, if 930 does not manipulate, a lot of times 10 a.m. is going to be the true manipulation. So I mark out this is 10 a.m. opening price. So I want to see I was paying attention. Honestly, I saw two scenarios from here playing out. I either saw us trading up into this 15-minute fair value gap that we ended up creating here, and then I was going to look for shorts out of there, or we were going to trade down after 10 a.m. and tap into that volume imbalance or maybe that weekly gap or something, and then trade up from there and I could take longs. I was honestly at this point okay with taking either scenario. I really wasn't dead set on either one. At this point, I was a little more short biased though, to be completely honest, but we come up, we trade up into this 15-minute fair value gap over here. And then at this point, I'm pretty much expecting a reaction down. I noticed that around 10 a.m. during this chop, we built these stacked lows down here. So I'm saying, you know what? We have an accumulation zone down here. We manipulate up. The true draw is lower to this volume balance. So I was looking for shorts based off this. And even one other thing too, I know I keep flipping back to the higher time frame, but today's Monday, right? So if we think in terms of accumulation, manipulation, distribution, Monday and Tuesday potentially could be bearish days because the higher time frame narrative is bearish, right? Like it's the same thing with 10 a.m. open. When it first opens, we want to see it go the opposite way. So Monday, I'm thinking, okay, we're playing shorts Monday, even though we're bearish higher time frame. But we have this LR built up down here, volume imbalance, all that good stuff. So the trade I ended up taking is when we zoom in here. I ended up entering off this candle closure right here. What this was a change in the state of delivery. So when you look at like right here, we close below this last up close candle. There technically also was a 1 minute inverse fair value gap. It's really tiny, right? I thought there was a 1 minute. I lied. I guess there's not a 1 minute really. Probably some 30-second, I bet. But that's besides the point. Yeah, I mean, there's a 30-second, but that closes pretty gnarly. But one thing framing this trade was there's an unfilled 5-minute gap, right? So when I'm taking this CISD up here, this down here, I'm going to clear off these drawings. This is getting a lot. Delete this. Delete. So we close below this 1 minute CISD and there's this unfilled 5-minute gap right here. Obviously, like I know my this, you could say go break even at the unfilled 5-minute, and that would be a very logical thing to do. But in today's case, I was actually fading, which essentially means I was looking for it to essentially get ran through this 5-minute, right? So the idea in my mind is we're delivering from that bearish 15-minute gap. The bearish narrative has yet to be completed. We've built up LR next to a clear higher time frame target. I'm ready to rip shorts at this point, right? So I saw displacement toward there as well. Honestly, I thought this is a really good trade. And from here, you can see it's slowly just grinding up toward my stop loss. It came very close to stop me out 2 separate times. And actually, if you go to MNQ, it actually, like, this is honestly crazy, I swear. Shout out Tradesy. My stop loss was at like 29, 110, 25. It came like 2 ticks away from my stop 2 separate times. Oh, actually, this was 1 tick away, and this was 2 ticks away. I lied. But you can see it almost took my stop, but it did not take me out on any of my accounts, right? So I was able to stay in that trade. I saw displacement down. You're going to say, Tim, if you were fading that 5-minute gap, right? You said you were expecting to get close through. It never hit your TP. How'd you get stopped at break even, right? You never took any partials, right? It actually technically never even hit 1-to-1 risk to reward. What I saw is I see candles coming in like this, 11 a.m. open, right? Was 11 a.m. open due. We trade up a little bit. We do not take my stop loss, and then we close bearish, right? Then even this candle right here, we trade up into some gap, which was actually a 5-minute gap that got created. So as price was playing out, you can see in this area where I took a CISD right around here, let's say, right? Stop loss at that high, maybe a little lower. But we ended up opening this bearish 5-minute gap. right? So I said, you know what? There's too high of a chance we can open up this 5-minute gap, trade into it, then go to my TP. So I was not willing to go break even. You can see it pretty much retapped my break even point almost perfectly here, right? Then extremely bearish close from here. I'm still not moving my stops to break even. I'm still letting this ride. The point at which I actually moved my stops to break even, I literally kept talking about I'm not going break even, I'm not going break even, and then I saw the sweep of this low right here, and then the close of this candle. I'm not gonna lie, the discretion in my head, like the market experience in my head at this point is yelling at me like, dude, you got to get out of these shorts. Like, not get out, but move stops to break even. Because if they start trading back up, you're cooked. Like, if we don't flip right now and deliver down, you're cooked. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like we're failing to deliver down. We're having all these bearish candle closes, no follow through. And then we actually finally take that low, and that is how we react. No, thank you. I do not want to be involved in this trade anymore. I moved my stops to break even. I ended up getting stopped at break even. Looks like I made an amazing decision, right? Because as soon as I get stopped at break even, I ran out of my house. I did what I had to do. I came back here, and now I'm filming this trade recap. So I will show you guys my executions for the pocket watchers out there. So this is trade C. Can you see in the top? Oh, it's actually the bar at the top is hiding it. But so I'm on fresh evaluation, so this isn't showing too much. But I mean, I got stopped at break even, and then this is a. Oh, well, you can see the 3 accounts over here. My Lucid Flex evaluations. But and here's my executions on the chart, right? Oh yeah, I shorted over here off this candle close right here. Stopped at break even. Yeah, it's funny because I originally wanted to target that 930 high too, but it's whatever. So if you guys were not aware already though, I do live trade for free here on YouTube Monday to Friday at 9:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you're welcome to pull up, come hang out with me, trade with me, see me take all my executions in live time, see me give all my analysis, obviously ask me any questions, all that type of fun stuff every single morning, Monday to Friday. And normally this trade recap is filmed while I am live on stream. In today's case, I had to end stream early. Well, not end early. I finished trading and just immediately ran. I had to go do something back here, film a trade recap. There's no one on stream right now. I'm lonely. No, I'm kidding. But also join the free Discord. That's going to be linked down below. Code TIMB272 at all prop firms such as Tradeify, Lucid Trading, Alpha Futures, My Fund in Futures, all that type of good stuff. Also, TradeZella for journaling, code TIMB272. But if you enjoyed this trade recap, definitely hit that like button. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Do you think, was this a good trade? Am I a donut for taking a trade today? Was this a dumb short? Was this a risky short? Was my bias wrong? I don't know. Let me know whatever you want to say. I feel like I would give you guys ideas. No one ever comments. Leave a comment if you're actually watching this. But oh, and subscribe for more free live trading, trade recap, all that type of good stuff. But I appreciate you watching this trade recap all the way through. Best of luck in your trading. Peace out.